Bantamweight standout Sean O'Malley does not blame UFC President Dana White for his current stance on fighter pay. The UFC's pay structure has been a hot topic in recent months, with boxer Jake Paul doing his best to promote changes in the way Dana White and company treat fighters. Sean O'Malley, who previously said he was inspired by Jake Paul and his brother Logan, recently touched on the topic of fighter pay during his most recent episode of his podcast. For Sean, he can understand Dana White's stance on the situation, stating the following: "Dude, I don't even blame Dana. It's like some of these people have zero following. They're not making the UFC a lot of money. They're not making the UFC any money, really. But that's just from a business perspective. From Dana's business perspective, I can see that." O'Malley most recently competed at last month's UFC 269 event, where he scored a first-round TKO victory over Julian Paiva. The win served as Sean O'Malley's third in a row and earned him a spot in the top 15 of the UFC's bantamweight rankings. During a recent livestream on his YouTube channel, Michael Bisping was asked to give his reaction to the video of Sean Strickland knocking out his sparring partner. He said the following: "I used to train with Sean Strickland on and off here and there, and I never really had that issue with him. It was always the opposite with me. Sean was always very elusive, and he would always move around a lot. He was always on the back foot, so he used to annoy me a bit. He was never like this crazy, psychotic, violent sparring partner when I sparred with him, and that wasn't his reputation in the gym either. He was never known as that guy, but surely that seems to be the reputation now. So who knows? He's really doing well in the UFC. He's on a great win streak, so maybe it's because he's found another side of himself. Who knows?" Josh Thomson has explained why he doesn't think the UFC will book the rumored fight between Nate Diaz and Dustin Poirier. For weeks now, we've been hearing about a potential showdown between Nate Diaz and Dustin Poirier, a collision that has quite literally been years in the making. Unfortunately for mixed martial arts fans across the globe, it doesn't appear as if we're going to get it, at least not for the time being. When discussing the booking and whether or not it'll happen, Josh Thomson had the following thoughts. "The UFC does not want to allow Nate Diaz to fight a big-name guy for the last fight on his contract. He wants to fight as soon as possible. We've talked about this a bunch of times. He wants to fight because he wants to get that last fight over with so he can either renegotiate or just bounce out to boxing to fight somebody else. That's what he wants to do. As soon as he comes out publicly and tells them, even privately, that he's ready to fight, it's on them." Urijah Faber has some interest in fighting Cub Swanson. After Swanson beat Darren Elkins back in December, he hinted at a possible matchup with Faber and a drop to bantamweight. Swanson said Urijah is his dream fight, and he wants the two to fight in California to find out who the real king of Cali is. "The one thing that I would love to do still, they're building a big arena, a 10,000-person arena in Palm Springs," Swanson said after UFC Vegas 45. "That'll be done by the end of the year. If I can get the UFC to have a fight night in Palm Springs, I'd stick around for that for sure. Probably Urijah Faber. See who the real king of Cali is." Immediately, many fans were excited about a potential matchup. Since then, Cub Swanson doubled down on the callout, saying they could fight for an honorary WEC belt. Although Swanson called out Faber twice, the California kid hadn't responded until now, and he admits he does have interest in that fight. Directly afterwards in the press conference, he said his dream fight would be to fight in Palm Springs against yours truly. "Honestly, I know he broke his hand. That might give me enough time to train. He's going to drop down to 35. We were supposed to fight back in 2004 in King of the Cage on short notice for $1,000. I think they were going to pay him a couple $100, and they were going to pay me like $1,000. That never happened. So Cub, I'm honored that I'm your dream fight here in this scenario. So we might find out who the King of California is."